is that I did not want to have to ask anybody permission for a day off to be a mom.
This is the submissive CEO. Power under God. Leadership under authority. Building empires through obedience. Strong in business. Surrendered in spirit. Walking by faith, not by trend. Let's go.
Hey, so I thought I would come in today and talk to you guys about why I became an entrepreneur and why I would take the crazy decision of leaving a full-time nursing management position with a really amazing salary to pursue entrepreneurship all the way. So, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, if you have an idea and are thinking maybe, or maybe if you're already doing it and you're wondering, should I take the next step? This is my story. Hopefully, it gives you a little bit of insight into the whys, right? So, I have noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs, their full time journey starts with a pain point for the most part. Something had to have happened, or there was something that shifted in their life that made them take this decision. And that was also the same thing for me. I absolutely love entrepreneurship. This is my thing. This is what I was made to do. This is where I thrive. And this is where I find joy in this process. I love nursing. I will always be a nurse. And I love my patients fully. But at this stage of my life, this is where I feel like I belong. And what kind of led me or pushed me to that? Okay. So a couple of things, but the very first episode or instance that happened was my daughter was probably around 5 years old, and she had a very important event happening at school. Important for a 5 year old. Okay. We're not talking about college graduation, but for her little 5 year old heart, it was important. And I requested the day off from work so that I could attend this event, and I was denied. Now, being denied, obviously, everybody can get denied time off of work. It doesn't mean you should run and quit the job or anything like that. But I wasn't denied because it was a patient care issue or we had some sort of audit going on. It was simply that the manager at the time also wanted the day off, and she gave it to herself and decided that I couldn't have it. And my daughter remembered that. Kids will remember who showed up for them, even if it was out of my control. That made me feel horrible. I didn't like it. And it really made me start to think of what I wanted for my future and basically what was important to me at this stage, because the way I saw it is I have the rest of my life to make money. But these memories with my kids are limited. The time is going, they're growing up. You're going to miss out on a lot of different things. And that's primarily what it was about for me, is that I did not want to have to ask anybody permission for a day off to be a mom. I don't want to have to ask your permission to take my child to the doctor's appointment and have to over explain myself to you and essentially be begging for my own time. That was what it was about for me. I couldn't do it. It was like one of the hardest things for me. When I had to put in a time off request, it bothered me to my soul. Because what do you mean I have to ask you for my time? And I understand you have to work, you have to abide by the rules of the company that you're working for, or otherwise nothing would work. Like there would be no businesses, no companies. I'm fully aware of that. I'm just telling you guys, for me, it was difficult. It was very, very difficult. And if you're an entrepreneur, at heart too, you understand what it is that I'm saying. And it's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is 100% not for everybody. You have to be built for this, okay? Because it is a risk. It is up and down. Some days you are just on cloud nine. Other days you are fasting and praying because you don't know what's going on and where to go. Okay, so I wanted to share that because I think a lot of people are stuck in a position where they don't know if this should be a side hobby. They don't know if they should pursue this full time or what God is really calling them to do. So, if you're in that type of position, I'm going to tell you just look inward and pray on it and analyze where you are in your life and say, what matters to me most right now? What is important to me, right? So, like I shared, that was the beginning of me looking into going a little bit more full time into this. When I did completely, I don't want to say completely leave nursing because I'll always be a nurse, but when I did completely step out of the role with the most recent position I was in, it was because I myself had gotten sick and I had to have surgery. And I had quite a recovery process because I had some complications. And the job I had, completely amazing. They were understanding. They gave me the time that I needed. They checked in, all of that. Completely amazing company, right? But it's still a business. It still has to run. So I had to go back earlier than I was actually physically kind of able to because of the complications that I had. And again, asking and begging somebody for time to care for myself was making me absolutely crazy. I just I couldn't get with it. I could not over explain to somebody, well, I had this appointment and this was the result. So now the doctor wants a follow up and now I have to go take this test. That just made me completely feel broken that I would have to keep asking permission to care for myself. Life is hard enough already as it is. We're trying to get in enough water. We're trying to exercise, maintain relationships and friendships, and be parents and have jobs and pay bills and, be good members of society and honor God and all of the things. It's hard enough. And I did not want that extra stress. And I did not want the trying to juggle my business on the side, also trying to make sure that if there was something that I could do to improve my business, that I now had to ask my job for the time off. It wasn't fair to the job because they were paying me for that time. It wasn't fair to my business because I was not putting 100% in. And it wasn't fair to me as a person because I was stretching myself thin, therefore making myself even sicker than I already was. Right. So I prayed on it. I prayed on it and God said, move. And I moved. And that's really what it's been. And by the grace of God, I haven't really needed for anything. I have someone in my life who consistently reminds me that even when I'm like, oh man, business is slow, or I'm complaining about, one thing or another, right? As we do as humans, they consistently remind me that you don't really need anything. There's not been anything in the past, like over year and a half now that I'm like, oh man, I can't have this because I don't have enough money. Or if I had a job, I could do this. The Lord has provided for all of my needs, right? He is a provider. He has provided for everything I have needed. So I honestly can't complain. Do we always desire more as humans? Yeah, of course. I would love to see the numbers going off the charts and have all this amazing growth. And I'm sure that that will come. But I'm saying that just to encourage somebody. If you are in this type of season in your life, I'm not saying everybody should jump ship and go full-time entrepreneurship. No, I've been doing this for years. I want to preface with that. Actually, I should have prefaced with that. I have been doing this for years. I worked my business alongside with my job for years, okay, before I could take that jump. And it all depends on where you are in your business, right? It depends on what you have going on, what your revenue looks like, what your bills look like, who you are financially responsible for in your life. All of those things play a role into it. But I want you to just have faith and have hope that it can be done, because if I can walk away from a full-time nursing leadership salary, guaranteed money, even on my sick days, guaranteed money, to essentially stepping out on faith, betting on myself, trusting the Lord, it is possible. You can do it. If the Lord has guided you to do that, do it. If you're in a position that you can do it, do it. You're not going to know. You'll always wonder what if you don't. And that was one regret that I just could not live with, is wondering like, well, what if I could have, owned my time and I could have done the business, and what if it did work out and I never knew because I was scared and I just didn't jump? So, wanted to just share that with you guys today to let you know how it is that I started on my journey and the couple of different episodes that helped me to really solidify that decision, as well as prayer, of course, and getting guidance from the Lord, and to see if that resonates with anybody or if it helps you. All right, talk soon.
This is the submissive CEO.